Marina Abramović, the renowned Serbian performance artist, carried out one of the most shocking social experiments in 1974 at a museum in Naples, Italy. For 6 continuous hours, she placed her body entirely at the disposal of museum visitors, declaring that any action they took would be her responsibility. Beneath this seemingly bizarre act was a profound psychological experiment. What would a civilized human being do if their actions carried no personal consequences? Why is it that ordinary people, when faced with the opportunity to act cruelly without repercussions, can transform into instruments of harm? To test this, Marina prepared 72 objects divided into 2 categories. The first consisted of harmless, pleasant items such as flowers, honey, and soft treats, while the second included dangerous objects like knives, chains, scissors, and even loaded firearms. Visitors, chosen randomly and representing ordinary society, were given complete freedom to use any of these objects on her. In the first couple of hours, interactions were largely benign. Some handed her flowers or offered words of admiration, observing her silently. Yet around the 3rd hour, the tone shifted dramatically. A gentle slap initiated a cascade of escalating violence. Observers watched silently, unsure how Marina would respond. As she remained motionless, the abuse intensified. Her hair was pulled, her clothes cut, her skin marked with ink, and finally a knife even wounded her. This alarming transformation began from a single act of aggression and snowballed in the absence of any immediate consequences. This experiment mirrors the darker aspects of human psychology. How often in real life have we, like Marina, exposed our vulnerabilities to others, trusting them not to exploit us, only to find our goodwill misused? The experiment demonstrates a fundamental truth. The existence of a victim can awaken the predator within ordinary individuals. While our everyday experiences may not involve the extreme physical abuse seen in Marina's performance, the principle remains. The lack of immediate consequences allows suppressed aggression and self-interest to surface. The very people who seemed cultured and educated in the museum context revealed latent cruelty, illustrating that moral restraint is often contingent on accountability. The psychological mechanism behind this phenomenon is known as the bystander effect. This effect explains how individuals, when part of a larger group, tend to abdicate personal responsibility, assuming that someone else will intervene in critical situations. When everyone adopts this mindset, no one acts. Ordinary injustices go unchallenged, while complaints and resistance arise only when harm directly impacts oneself. Recent examples, such as viral incidents where passers-by film rather than assist victims in public attacks, further illustrate the persistence of this effect. It is a chain reaction of indifference that gradually erodes empathy and societal responsibility. However, the bystander effect is not limited to public spaces. Many experience it at an interpersonal level, where trust is betrayed by someone close. For instance, when confiding in someone who then exploits that vulnerability, the lack of boundaries can amplify the misuse of goodwill. Psychologists identify 3 primary factors in such exploitation: fear of confrontation, internal feelings of low self-worth that permit mistreatment, and the absence of personal boundaries driven by the desire for social approval. Marina's experiment exemplified all 3. She granted complete freedom, exhibited no protective boundaries, and did so publicly, revealing the latent toxicity in everyday individuals. As the performance continued, aggression escalated. Visitors resorted to chains and even attempted to use a loaded firearm. Witnessing her fear, one might expect intervention. Yet most participants remained passive, and only one person finally stopped the act. After the performance ended, Marina, wounded and exhausted, stood silently as those who had abused her fled, unwilling to confront the reality of their behavior. The event revealed one of the most unsettling aspects of human nature. Even in a civilized environment, ordinary individuals can revert to primal aggression when no accountability exists. This raises profound philosophical and ethical questions. What is the essence of morality? Is it merely obedience to divine or societal rules, or is it an intrinsic rational responsibility? Religious frameworks often define ethical behavior in terms of rewards and punishments, whereas philosophy suggests morality should be rooted in reason and the cultivation of virtues. Existentialist perspectives argue that humans, born as blank slates, develop identity and ethical values through choices and accountability. Following the lessons of Marina Abramović's experiment, it is crucial to understand the nature of exploitative and manipulative individuals and how to recognize and respond to them. Such individuals often emerge only in contexts where their actions can go unchecked, much like the participants in the 1974 performance. Psychologists categorize these people into three general types, each with distinctive behaviors and strategies. The first type includes opportunistic manipulators who seek leverage over others, looking for any information, weakness, or secret to exploit later. These individuals thrive on control and are highly skilled at observing vulnerabilities. By granting trust or responsibility without precaution, you allow them to test limits. Abraham Lincoln's famous advice, "If you want to know someone's character, give them power," applies here. Marina's experiment mirrored this principle. By giving visitors freedom to act, she exposed which individuals would exploit authority or opportunity to harm. The key takeaway is that awareness and cautious distribution of influence can prevent exploitation. The second type consists of gaslighters, people who consistently distort reality, making you doubt your own perception and judgment. Their techniques range from subtle to sophisticated, joking to justify harmful behavior, projecting their faults onto you, or remaining deliberately ambiguous to exploit uncertainty. Recognizing these tactics is essential. Common patterns include minimizing wrongdoing with humor, transferring responsibility for their actions to you, and avoiding clarity in communication. The most effective defense is meticulous record-keeping, clear communication, and direct confrontation of ambiguities, allowing you to reclaim narrative control and protect your mental boundaries. The third category involves isolators who systematically attempt to distance you from supportive relationships, leaving you more vulnerable to manipulation. They use gossip, misinformation, or social engineering to erode trust in others. Initially appearing kind or understanding, these individuals gradually confine your social interactions, making you dependent on them. Historical examples include cult dynamics such as NXIVM, where members were subtly separated from family and friends, ensuring control through fear and isolation. The common theme across these exploiters is the creation of conditions in which their harmful actions are unopposed. As Marina's experiment demonstrated, a lack of accountability emboldens individuals to escalate aggression and abuse. Understanding the psychology of these behaviors underscores a vital principle. Exploitative behavior only manifests where an enabling environment exists. In other words, abusers require a receptive or passive context to thrive. This aligns with philosophical interpretations from thinkers like Nietzsche, who emphasize that strength should be cultivated not for domination, but to resist subjugation and create a foundation for ethical autonomy. Similarly, existentialist philosophy emphasizes responsibility and the active creation of values. Freedom without accountability often leads to the expression of latent cruelty, while conscious engagement and self-protection foster moral resilience. Practical strategies to counteract exploitative behavior involve establishing firm boundaries, promoting transparency, and refusing to tolerate abusive patterns. Awareness of manipulative tactics coupled with assertive action reduces opportunities for harm. Additionally, cultivating inner self-worth, emotional intelligence, and social support networks fortifies individuals against exploitation. Marina's experiment serves as a metaphorical reminder that the moral choices we make, even in small interactions, profoundly impact both our character and the collective social environment. Ultimately, the lessons extend beyond isolated incidents. They inform how we design social systems, ethical frameworks, and interpersonal relationships. By recognizing the interplay between freedom, responsibility, and human nature, we can better cultivate environments that encourage empathy, accountability, and ethical behavior. Marina Abramović's performance forces us to confront uncomfortable truths. Ordinary people, when freed from consequences, can reveal disturbing behaviors. Awareness, reflection, and proactive moral engagement are essential to prevent harm and foster genuine ethical conduct. This narrative also illuminates the link between personal empowerment and societal health. Philosophical and psychological perspectives converge on one conclusion: cultivating responsibility, ethical awareness, and assertive self-protection are essential to limit exploitation. Strength, Reason and self-respect become tools not to dominate others but to prevent enabling harm.